fellas, how is it going? I'm pretty sure many of you had heard about therians or quadrobics back in 2023 and 2024. Many people do not know much about them, and before the video, neither have I. Today, we're going to discuss and find the answer to most popular questions, such as what is therianthropy, how do quadrobics and therianthropy correlate, and does being a therian count as being mentally ill? Don't ask me why I'm doing this video, I was hella bored, so let's begin. In order to begin our investigation, we must first understand what are we dealing with. According to Wikipedia, in the page called Therian Subculture, it is said, therians, also known as therianthropes, are individuals who identify as one or more non-human animals, partially or entirely, on a personal level, which they call their stereotypes. The enduring experience of identifying as a non-human animal, as well as the broader lived experience of therians, is commonly referred to as therianthropy. Originally, therianthropy comes from the Greek words therian, which means wild beast, and anthropos, which means human. Please do not confuse this with lycanthropy, as lycanthropy is a mythical, so unreal ability or illness where a human can shapeshift into a beast, typically a wolf. Similar, yet not the same. The origin of modern Western therian community started God knows when on an internet forum for werewolf fiction. Some sources may suggest that the first online presence of therians can be traced back to alt.horror.werewolf/ahww website. Soon after, the discussion started to focus more on personal non-human identities, and that spiraled into a subculture. Now that we know the backstory, what do therians actually do and how do they even know what they are? Well, according to Therian Wiki fandom page, some therians don't know what causes them to identify as a non-human being, but it is commonly known and accepted that therianthropy in itself is not a choice. It is also agreed upon that a therian cannot pick or choose their stereotypes, and many, but not all therians identify as currently living animals, though it is not uncommon to see therianthropes who identify as extinct animals, paleotherian, fictional creatures, fictherian, or even animals that are considered mythical, theriomythic. It is also relatively common and entirely possible for a therian to have more than one stereotype. Individuals that experience this are known as polytherian. The therian community uses a wide variety of symbols to represent themselves. The symbol most often associated with the therian community is the theta delta. I'm pretty sure many of you have seen it before. It includes and represents all therianthropic identities. What about the age range? Well, therianthropes can be any age, and thus therianthropy has no specific age range or age limit. However, the most therians awaken and or find their community when they're between the ages of 8 to 18 years old.
Enrique!
So, where do even quadrobics come into action and what even is this? According to Wikipedia page, quadrobics is a form of physical exercise and youth subculture that involves using all four limbs, as if imitating quadrupedal, hence the name animal locomotion. It became known to media by Japanese sprinter Kenichi Ito, who in 2008 set the world record for running the 100 meters track on all four limbs. 4 years later, he beat his own record and was listed into Guinness Book of Records. As of 2026, the record is 14.55 seconds, set by Ryushi Yoni in September 2025. Around 2020 to 2024, especially on TikTok and YouTube Shorts, many therians started posting videos of themselves doing quadrobics while wearing masks and tails, something therians call gear. For some, it was simply roleplay or self-expression. For others, it would be an exercise. But this created a misconception: internet equal therian equal quadrobics. In reality, therianthropy is about identity, and quadrobics is an activity, which is optional for a therian to participate in. Some non-therians participated as well. You may have also noticed that I had mentioned pieces of clothing for quadrobics. Why is this necessary and what's the meaning of this? Well, according to a therian fandom page, these items are called gear, and it allows a therian to express their stereotype. Gear is not what makes someone a therian, and it isn't a requirement to be a therian. Some non-therians wear gear without personality identifying as a therian or some other kind of non-human. Some examples of gear include Animal masks, commonly referred to as therian masks, ear headbands, paw socks or gloves, accessories made of real or fox fur, this may also be done for scales or feathers, makeup that copies the markings of someone's stereotype, pins, lanyards, jewelry, collars, bracelets, or stickers that represent one's stereotype or have the theta delta symbol, shoes with paw patterns, and t-shirts of one's stereotype. Now we have covered majority of the aspects of therian subculture, but wait, there's more. We are getting closer to answering our main question, but first, why would anyone even assume that therian subculture might be some sort of mental disorder? Psychiatrists talk about a thing called clinical therianthropy. Clinical therianthropy involves the delusional belief that one transforms into an animal and assumes its characteristic. This is different from the modern therian subculture, mind you. Another reason for weird looks on therianthropy comes from the internet subculture. Typically, you'd expect children below the age of 7 to pretend to be an animal while playing with other kids. So when you see grown individuals do the same thing, well, it doesn't give the good first impression. Additionally, some people get deadly dose of cringe from the material posted by therian community, which also results in some backlash. Many people view therian activities as childish or weird. Others defend it, saying that this is expression of their identity and sometimes a spiritual belief. Lastly, we are getting to definition of therianthropy, where it is viewed as spiritual belief. For example, believing that their connection to their stereotype has a spiritual origin. There were also some gossip about beliefs of reincarnation as the said animal, their stereotype, or being this animal in their past life. But I am not sure if this information is legit and this is gossip stuff. So we got the public view now. Some say that therianthropy is a subculture or a hobby. Others state that this is a spiritual belief. Third state that this is a mental illness. Pretty cool, right? So to answer your question as to does being a therian count as being mentally ill, my answer would be no. This counts as being cringe. Okay, let me be serious. Therianthropy itself is not automatically a mental disorder. However, a person who identifies as a therian can also have a mental disorder, just like anyone else. And clinical conditions involving the belief that one is physically transforming into an animal are a separate psychiatric phenomenon and shouldn't automatically be equated with the modern therian community, like entire community. And if someone understands their therian identity as a spiritual belief, whether or not you personally agree with that belief, that's a matter of respecting someone's religious or spiritual perspective, rather than automatically calling it a mental disorder. Let's be respectful, guys. Well, that is all for the video. Hope you had enjoyed it. Lastly, I'm adding that by no means I'm trying to offend anyone. And point 2, I am no supporter of this subculture either. I am simply here to sum up the fact that I found about and talk about it, keeping the neutral opinion. Alright, that's definitely for the topic of the video. Now I'm gonna make some announcements for my channel specifically, and if you're interested, please listen, I don't know. Point 1, the Discord server link is working again. Yay, yippee! If you'd like to join anytime, it's in the channel bio, you can find it right there. It's a permanent link, so feel free to join anytime. Number 2, I had found myself a new video editor, so next videos might have an increased quality. Yay, yippee! And thirdly, very important news, my guys. I had finally became an official YouTube partner. That means I get the monetization. Yay, yippee! Alrighty, that would be all for my announcements. If you guys have any suggestions for my improvement, please let me know in the comments. And if you have anything to share in the comments, you can always put it there. Maybe I'll read it, maybe I won't. But either way, have a good day, y'all. Bye-bye. Until I make the next video.